Well, look at this, prima donna!
I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
Shut your damn mouth.
Oh, be sure to like, subscribe, and slap it in the face.
Well, almost back to normal, just without court today.
That opener tells us how long it's been since we've done. We got to hang out.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has, and it's well overdue. And you know what? We need to do more of those. They're a lot of fun. But number 5, I'm at least I'm in the top 10. I'll take that. Number 5, Mikey.
We are we're going to do a little hangout about an hour. Hear about the trip, kind of get an idea. There are some stories that will be told later this evening at 5:30 East on the main channel for members only.
Yeah, this is only the PG chat we're gonna have here. This is gonna be the PG things that happened and were said and we saw and things like that. So yeah, if you're new here and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, I took a trip last week, Wednesday to Wednesday, flew to Austin, met up with our friend, my new best friend, Chris from the Trolley Podcast right here on YouTube. And, he offered to give me, when I say all expenses paid, Creed, I mean everything. Like every time I tried to pay for something, he's like, I gotta give you here.
I just went black for a second. We're
I
right
thought you
back
did.
into it, baby. Right back into
I didn't
it.
know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on.
One time the entire week, I saw that little thing up here, that goes down, and it had a Creed frame. One time.
You didn't frame, but you did look confused.
I went black for a very quick second there.
Oh, so was this.
That was it.
What's going on here?
Yeah, so big trip, and truly all expenses paid. As a matter of fact, Mikey did say I tried to buy a few things here.
I tried to buy me this shirt right here. I was like, we were at the WWE Superstore, which I have tons of video and photos from that we'll be watching during members only. So if you want even more of the trip that we don't get to and the really dirty stuff we can't talk about right here, members only tonight, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Still time to join.
Not to keep teasing this, but there's one story, I guess, in particular that you basically call it a saga.
Yeah. You know what? We'll probably talk about we'll discuss the saga here.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you guys all the very dirty details and very obscene things that were said and heard on this trip that I can't say here. It just would be bad taste.
Well, that's true.
Court did kill Spy Life.
Spy Life killed it itself, basically.
Well, I'd like to think our loyalty to it had waned, and so did the interest in the channel. But it's all right.
Could have done the Poor Sports.
I got that streaming on Poor Sports as well.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's over there as well. So
all right, so let's start here. We saw a video of the takeoff and landing, getting to Texas. I guess that
perfect.
Went easy. Went out of RDU, right?
Yeah, absolutely perfect flight, Creed. You couldn't ask for a better flight. It was a little uncomfortable because with the company I flew with, we'll call them Southwestern, and they allow you to sit anywhere you want, like. If so it's like the school bus.
Really?
Yes, it's like the school bus when you're in elementary school. You hope you're at the front of the line so you can get a good seat. Otherwise, you got to sit with strangers. So,
did you see anybody sitting sideways, like with their feet up or anything, like any of that kind of BS?
Oh, absolutely. The people sitting next to me. Chris was nice enough. Again, raw treatment. Gets me the early bird, so I'm one of the first people in the A. They load people in wheelchairs, then they load A, B, and then C. Mm-hmm. And so I was, one of the first ones on. I got up there, got my seat right there over the wing. window seat.
I like the wing too. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I do. Yeah.
I just do. And I was like, okay, this will be fine. Real quick backtrack, Creed. I went through TSA at the RDU.
Yes.
First thing they say to me is, boy, you sure are early. And I'm like, it said to come 2 hours early. And then you send me an email says, you might want to come a little earlier than that because it's spring break.
Okay, that's funny. You sure are early.
And I'm like, I'm early? You sent me an email to be earlier than 2 hours. So I was 2.5 hours early for my flight. Walked right through TSA, to get my bags. They're not very friendly.
Gary, by the time we get to the end of this on the way home, I think he has some stories about being
there's a plane full of those.
Little freaked out.
And I haven't flown. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I haven't flown in a plane since the year 1994. This was my first flight back.
Wow.
It's a little different. So I'm like, what is this thing I got to walk through? I wasn't sure where to put my bags and things. They weren't very helpful. They weren't like, oh, let us help you, sir.
Your luggage that you took, have you upgraded to the 4, so you could just roll it straight like that?
No. I just kept you. Yeah, just behind me. I had 2 carry-ons, one that would go into overhead and one that would go under my seat. So, I go in, they say, do like this, spread your legs. And I'm like, okay, I have my feet on the feet prints on the thing. And the guy's like, wider. Wider. And I'm almost doing a split. I come out of the thing and I'm walking, and he puts his hand right here and he's like, hold on. And he's looking behind me. I was like, what is he looking at? And there's a screen behind me. I didn't know that. He says, you see, we have a problem. And I'm like, whoa. I turn around and look at the screen and it's got a body. It's got like the back of the body, the front of the body. Back of the body looks fine. I was like, I don't see a problem. I go to the front of my body, and right over my genitals is a big red box. And he says, I'm going to have to search you. Would you like to go into a private room to do this, or do you want to do it right here?
By the way, how did the genitals look? Were they?
It was like I was being censored. Like, it was just a giant red box right over my junk. Like, what is going on? And I'm like, I'll do it right here. Well, little did I know how this was going to go, because he says, I'm wearing like sweatpants. And he's like, pull up your pants. Well, I didn't have it sagging underneath my ass. They were where they were supposed to be. He's like, pull them up. I pull them up. He's like, higher. So I have to hike them like into my crack, up under my armpits almost. And he's like, starts patting me down. And he was so thorough. He's up in my ass crack. He's underneath me from behind, and then he's underneath me from the front.
Wow.
Lifting and everything. And I'm just like shocked. I'm just blown away that my junk has now got me on the terrorist watch list. I'm like, what is going on here?
Is there a lot of people around? Or
yes. At that point, there's like a squad of cheerleaders is coming through. The old lady on the walker shaking her head. Everybody's looking at me like I'm criminal number 1.
Yeah.
And I'm like just blown away. And he's like, okay, here I am standing. I've given myself a camel toe. I'm just standing here holding my pants as tight as I could on my body. And he's like, all right, you're good. I'm like,
Jesus
oh man, I'll never be good again. So I digress. We go to the plane, planes flying.
Great start.
Great trip. 2 girls in their early 20s sit next to me because, they were in C. And they see no one else wanted to sit with me, so they had to. And they're with like another group of girls. So it's like 6 early 20 chicks all like talking to each other and hanging out. They're all wearing masks. When I say masks, I mean 2 masks on top of each other like this.
Private chat real quick. I got a question.
Okay, go ahead. And like the whole time they're like leaning away from me like I stink. They're using hand sanitizer.
I think I'm spot on this private chat.
Constantly. And I was like, oh, no. Opposite.
Even with the double mask.
Yes.
I'm interested. All right. That's interesting.
And they're cleaning their hands before they eat the snack, after they eat the snack. You're like, I'm like, do these people have something? Do I need to be worried? Why are they so masked up? Flight goes fine. They never say a word to me. I never say a word to them.
Perfect. That's the way you want it. Like your neighbors here, at your house. Just
not a word. I didn't bother with these guys. And so we land, everything's good. Chris, I thought Chris was going to be in the airport waiting for me, but he was in the cell lot. And he's like, just text me when you're here. Tell me where you're standing and I'll come pick you up.
Easy.
And for a second, it runs through my mind that I've been pranked. Like he's not even really there. Like he's just
oh god,
just effing with me. Like in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna mess with this guy. Amazing content for my channel, his channel.
That's true. Good point. How about if he sent you like an Uber or something and took you to some random mass like spot in the city and just dropped you off? Made you sweat it for a few minutes.
I was nervous, a little nervous.
Dick Harris,
baby.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
So he's like, all right. I tell him where I'm at. He says, on my way. I'll have the top down. I'm in the Mustang. I'm like, okay. And like people pulling up to the curb, and picking up people. And I see him coming. And I was like, oh, he'll pull over here to the curb. Nope. Middle of the road. So I'm dragging my bags out there. He's got the top down. He doesn't get out. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, can I just throw my bags here in your back seat? He's like, oh, yeah, go ahead. So I toss them in and we take off. We're driving around Austin top down. It was a little cool. I was worried about my dude, but it was fine. It was all right. And he says to me, because he told me we're going to hit the road immediately. He says to me, hey, I've got to go by my house and, do something real quick. And I'm like, oh shit, he's going to murder me. This is it. This is where he takes me up to his room, skins me alive. And he's a notorious YouTube killer. And we pull into his parking garage. It's he sounded like a nice apartment. He's like, you want to come up? I was like, no, I'll wait right here. He leaves. And when he leaves, I jump out and I take pictures of his license plates and start sending them to my family.
Bigfoot, thank you, doll hair.
I'm sending them license plate number. I'm over here taking a picture of the VIN number. I'm just like trying to be thorough. Because again, we hadn't really got to know each other yet. He comes back down. He says, let me take you to this barbecue place. You like barbecue? I'm like, yeah, I like barbecue. So we get to this place. Flamin' Rickshaw. Good to see you. By the way, I met Flamin' Rickshaw on the trip. So he's like, let's go to this place. So we go in there. I found out like it's a very famous place. Joe Rogan goes there all the time. He's there in Austin. He lives there and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is pretty neat. And we get up there and he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, well, you come here, whatever you get, just get the same for me. So he starts getting like, they put it all on this giant tray. It's not like a plate. It's just a giant tray. So they got the mac and cheese. They go over there. They're cutting the smoked turkey. They're getting the pork ribs. He's getting cornbread. And I'm like, okay, all right. This seems good. And they give you like loaf bread, like Texas toast loaf bread.
All right. I like that.
Untoasted, just give it to you. Yeah. I guess make a sandwich. And we go up to pay $98 for this food. 90
kind of cafeteria style, kind of like a K&W type.
Not even that. They just put it on a tray, like not even like you would walk to your table with. So you're eating off this huge tray.
I don't know if I'd like that. Gary, thank you. 3 bones. Hallelujah.
I shared a picture of that on Discord, so I'm sure if you're over there, you saw that. And massive. He gets a pound of the turkey. Mm-hmm. I think he gets 2 pounds of the ribs. And we sit down and I'm like, okay, this, again, new friends. So it's like, do I just dig in and eat all I want? What do I do?
Hey, Grace.
Yeah. What are we doing here? How do we play this? So, I started, we're eating off the same tray together, and I'm eating turkey, which is fabulous. All the food was great, all of it, except for the mac and cheese was a little cold, and he's like very disappointed. He's like, I can't believe this. The ribs are like falling off the bone, just everything's great, and I eat as much as I could possibly eat. Well, there's still like $89 worth of food left on this tray. He's ate, I've ate, and now here we are, just
Is that Terry Black's?
Yeah, Terry Black's. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, there's so much food left. I mean, look at all that. It's all like right there.
The mac and cheese looks a little odd, but I like it.
Yeah, they put like the seasoning on top, but it was like room temperature.
And for some reason, barbecue joints with the pickles.
Yeah, pickles and onions.
Amazing job with just like pickles and onions. That cornbread, like cornbread.
Cornbread was fantastic. It was sweet. Oh, it was delicious.
The sandwich bread, like the white bread. There was $90 with
$98 with the two drinks.
With 2 drinks. That why is it so much?
Like a pound of turkey's like $37. A pound of ribs, I think we got 2 pounds of that. They're like, $30.
I mean, the turkey looks really good.
They sell everything by the pound. It's not like just give me a piece of turkey. You got how many pounds you want? A half pound, whatever. And they're cutting it right there in front of you. Like, yeah.
Well, they cut it in front of you at Buc-ee's also, but
true. So it was very good, very, very good. So we get on the road. And we had discussed, what the music choices were going to be and things like that. And I like to talk. And oddly enough, he likes to talk. And we start talking about his adventures in radio and things like that. And before I know it, it's time to stop already. We stop. We go again. And it ended up being like, 10 hours go by.
Could you imagine sits down to the meal and Mikey's like waiting, and then like, no, this is mine. Here's some cold mac and cheese.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It was weird. 10 hours go by like it was 10 minutes. I swear, I hate most times on long road trips. I hate them.
Yeah. You were saying you guys were just jibber jabbering the whole time, though, not even having the radio on.
Never once turned the radio on. Just talking and getting to know each other. That night, before we went to a hotel, I think we grabbed McDonald's, something simple. It was like
very quick question. Did you take any leftovers or did he?
No.
Okay. I'm impressed. That must have really
made me
bothered you,
It bothered me that he had spent that much money.
Did you trash a bit of it? I mean, like how much was left? I'm saying after that.
I think all of the mac and cheeses were still there.
Uh-huh.
One piece of cornbread because I ate half a piece. There might have been a couple of ribs still left, and probably like a piece of turkey.
The green shit is in barbecue joints. Do this seriously. I'm saying that they're very good. It's just pickles and onions and some seasoning. So it's very vinegary usually.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very
anyway,
good.
All right. So off to McDonald's because you guys came in pretty late, right?
Oh yeah, it was like almost midnight. Yeah. And oddly enough, I lost 2 pounds on this trip.
That's because of all the walking in the.
Oh yeah, like we walked and walked and walked and walked and walked, and we get to he's like, he's the kind of guy that he travels. He doesn't, make plans as far as like hotels go. So that kind of worried me. I was like, oh man, we're just potluck on hotels.
Those of you who don't know Mikey, I mean, there was like a 2-year event of nonstop planning for a Disney trip. I mean, that's how he is. We make jokes about, when he went out for birthday dinner or whatever, I'd say, I already know what you meant. You already looked at the menu. You're going to, that's how you operate. So it is so he kind of got you. I understand. I got friends like that no plans, man. No plans. We're just going to wing it. And it makes me nuts too.
He pulls over.
Super planner.
Yeah.
But
he pulls over. He's like, oh, let's see what Orbitz has got. He's like thumbing through. He's like, and there's like, named hotels. And then He's like, this one looks interesting. We'll go stay here. It's got a good rating. And it was like in it's like El Cinto del
Be
Las
careful.
Cruces.
That sounds very racist.
I know. I don't know exactly what any of it means, but that was where I did the live stream from the hotel where I walked around and showed everybody everything.
Was that in the morning where like they had the
that
gift
was in
shop
the
and
morning.
stuff?
Mhm.
That was a really cool looking hotel.
It was
I liked it.
fantastic. Fantastic. I was blown away how comfy the bed was and just really nice accommodations.
Yeah, that was nice looking.
Yeah. And it wasn't like crazy expensive. So I was like happy about that. And oh yeah, baby. There's that weapon that guy was trying to find on me.
I see it. It almost looks like it's outlined in his gray sweats.
Enjoy, ladies.
Soak it all in. We'll give you a moment.
Drink it in. I'll give you a second to breathe. So, everything was great. We hit the road again. We pushed through, and it was now this hotel was so nice, Creed. It had a Sonic across the street. That's how high end this fucking place was.
All right,
Sonic. And I'm enjoying the desert and seeing all the stuff and all the rock formations. It was amazing, beautiful, beautiful time. So we're heading towards San Diego. He's like, "Hey, we do 12 hours. We can just push right on through, get to San Diego, and instead of going to LA, we'll go to San Diego, and we can go to a Padres game." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I've never been to one. It's opening night, the season." And I was like, "Do you got tickets?" He said, "Nah, I'll just get some when we get there." And I'm like, "Are you sure?"
It's opening night, right?
Yeah, opening day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole season, I was like, all right, we get there. It's like, you can't park near the place. And he's like, he just pulls over on the shoulder of the road like 20 minutes before the game starts. He's like, just going through, looking at stuff. Checking things. He said, "Oh, here we go. Got us some seats." He said, "These seem to be pretty good. They're like, he said, they're not like the seats that you would normally sit in. These are different seats." And I'm like, he said, "They're bigger, they're nicer." I was like, "All right, sounds good." And he's like, "Oh, let me get some parking. We're going to park in premium." I was like, "Oh, that sounds expensive." He said, "Yeah, $100. Like,
that made me nuts. I was watching Adam the Woo video, and he flew to opening day. And where was he at? Oh, went and saw the Nats, and he's like, pretty good deal, $50 for the day for parking. I said, "No, I don't think so." But all right.
Which was nice though. The place that we parked.
Oh, it is.
Basically walked across the street and we were there.
Yeah, when we went on vacation with our friends to Disney World, and like we went to SeaWorld, and they paid, I think it was like $120 or something like that for parking at SeaWorld. But legit, we walked across one lane and we were at the turnstiles ready to go in. And I'm like, all right, that's
so we're going in a little, the game has started. So we're going in and
even showing up late.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
"Oh my God, we showing up late. The game's already started. We're walking in and I look next to me and I see the guy and I'm like, this guy looks familiar. It really does look familiar. I'm looking at him. I'm like, I know who this guy is. It's Brandon Schaub. I've seen him. He used to be a UFC fighter. He's on Joe Rogan's show all the time. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a podcaster. And he's with his smoking hot wife, his kids. And I'm like, wow, he's probably sitting down.
Wait, did you say you look behind you?
Well, that was the weird thing because Brandon is right in front of us and then he veers off and goes up. And I'm like, where's he going? And then we're brought down closer and closer to the field. And everybody else is sitting like in the fold down seats. We have like these folding chairs that are up against this rail with cup holders and stuff. And just like, we don't even, that's him. That's kind of how he looked at me too. Cause I looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, and I give him the what's up, and as we're walking through, I can hear people hollering, Brandon, and he's just trucking it on to his seats. And I look back and he's sitting like 15 rows behind me. And I'm like, this guy's a celebrity, my man. He's sitting way back there, and I'm way down here.
Billy, thank you for the 5 bones. Hallelujah, the black eyes.
And I was like, wow. I was like, I mean, it doesn't look that close from that picture, but I swear to God, there were balls flying over my head like nobody's business all night long. Chris almost caught one. And, he's like, look, Chris is looking at the seats. He's like, yeah, these are good seats. I was like, yeah, they're great seats. He's like, yeah, but I don't feel like they're $700. I'm like, $700? You just spent $800 to come to this game. I'm like, I was like, I better keep stats. I better do everything. I better be on it,
No, those are good seats. You're right behind the bench.
Yeah. And a thing the players did, I didn't know they do this. Like when they're walking back to the dugout, they'll throw the ball they caught or whatever over the net for people to have. And so, it's a nice time. He's like, let's go get hot dogs. I'm like, all right, go to get hot dogs. And they were sold out of hot dogs.
What?
Yes. Even the giant hot dog that was like $12 was sold out.
They must have sold through all of last year's stuff on night one.
And it was weird. The guy that threw out the pitch is the man who owns the hot dog business that they supplies the park with hot dogs.
Well, that's embarrassing.
And I'm like, all right. So we stood in line for like 15 minutes to be told we couldn't have a hot dog. Went back to our seats.
Being at a baseball game and no hot dogs is kind of shitty.
And so we went back with just something to drink and a bag of those peanuts like we had at the basketball game.
They're good, although you can get them at the $1.25 tree, but they're very good.
So, we have those, enjoy the game. We leave, we get out, no problems. I'm surprised, by the way.
Who won the game?
Oh, well, the Rockies won.
And the countdown clock now in Major League Baseball is a big thing. 20 seconds, right? Between every
pitch. Yeah. It's like I guess the pitcher has to throw by a certain time, and the batter needs to be ready by a certain time. And it was really moved the game along. Like it was over before I knew it. Dennis, how are you? And it was time to go. So we hit the road again. He's like, we're going to drive a little further to get away from the city, and we'll get a hotel. Yeah. Again, we stay at the Hyatt Place. Beautiful hotel. We go to BJ's and eat before going to the room.
Wait, BJ what?
Yeah, went there and enjoyed some of their food.
What is that, like a sports bar-ish kind of deal?
Yeah. There I dated one in Orlando a couple of times. So
that's over near I think that we've been
they
there.
Make their own root beer. They make all these other like beers and things. They got like a brewing place.
I'm gonna see if it's the one that we were at, because they had really good actually had really good food. That was how we discovered that one place that we like. Is it BJ's Restaurant and Brew House?
Yep. That's it.
I'll look at the picture and see if that is the one we were at. I'm pretty sure it was.
But it was delicious.
Cool.
Very good food.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah, good. That's nice to have a chance at that. When did you have this though? That's the question.
That's the Fat Burger. I had that the day we got to LA, which was the next day. So we loaded up the next morning, headed on down. Our room wasn't ready when we got there. So we knew it was supposed to be like 4:00. It was going to be ready. But we asked for it to be ready earlier. They said, it's going to be a little bit. So we decided, he's like, let's go get Fat Burger, because he hates In-N-Out. He thinks it's overrated and their fries are terrible.
Well, we've heard that. A lot of the chat has even said that.
Yeah. So we go to Fat Burger, and, I'm like, okay, I remember how much Ice Cube loved these burgers, so it must be good.
That's true.
Matter of fact, while we were in the drive-thru, we bumped that song so we could just hear the part.
Okay.
I get there, like he's like looking to see where there are, and there's numerous ones. And he said, oh, here's one right up the street. So we get there, and I see the building. It's so small, like super small. I'm like, okay. We get up to the window, and their burgers are a little pricey.
Mhm.
He got like a double burger. I got like the single burger and some fries. So we go up to the window to pay, and it says on the window is like, "Hey, none of this food's gonna be sitting around. We prepare this all fresh right away, so be ready to wait." And they weren't kidding. I think we waited like 15 minutes. They pulled us over to this little lot, and they brought it out there, and it was fantastic. One of the best burgers I've ever had. I got it all the way so I could, taste it the way it was intended by God. Great fries. And
Not an extremely fat burger, but it does look good.
yeah, it was really, really good. And it was big. I'd already ate half of it right then before I took the picture. We get to the hotel, and I felt like a fish out of water right away because we get there. We're in downtown LA. The valet takes the car from us, goes and parks it. He's paying $50 a day, by the way, to park valet right next to the hotel.
I see. That makes me nuts, though. When you're staying at a hotel, I feel like that should be
complimentary. Yeah. Those guys are like bouncing around, real nice dudes. He's handing out tips right and left. There's a doorman at the door. He's opening the door for you. Welcome to Hotel Figgy. And I'm like, oh, we're staying at the Hotel Figueroa, a classic hotel. And you walk in, and there's wrestling fans everywhere.
No,
and when I say everywhere, every nook and cranny, people walk around with giant championship belts and stuff, dressed up as their favorite wrestlers.
Almost like cosplaying.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Everybody's super friendly. It's really nice. We get up to the room. The room is mind-blowingly beautiful. It's got one, even in the shower was massive. You could have put like 5 Mikeys in this shower. And it had like the little nozzle you can take off and get your downstairs areas. And it had the rainforest shower head and everything.
I remember you saying, because the last one wasn't like
that was very, very short. People in New Mexico are shorter than you think. I mean, they were ducking under. And it's just a beautiful hotel. I was very happy. And I have a video that I've done that I'm going to put up where I actually, I thought I had free roam of the place. So, I go to the pool area. I go behind the pool area to do some more filming at this little like restaurant bar type area. And as soon as I walk through, this guy runs up on me. He's like, "This is a private party. You can't be in here." And I look at him, and I swear to God, he was like a skinny Ludacris. Like even skinnier than Ludacris. And I'm looking at his face, and I kind of just stare at him for a second. I'm like, "Whoop, I'm sorry. I'll get on out of here." And he kicks me out, and I'll go back to my room. There were people who weren't wrestling fans that were looking and snickering at wrestling fans. And I witnessed that firsthand. I'm sitting there videoing my shirt. I think I probably had my Ric Flair shirt on or something.
Wrestling shame.
And they were like, looking down their nose at us. And I was like, "You sons of bitches. I can't believe this." So, Chris gets up, gets downstairs.
Shame.
Yeah. It's time to head to SmackDown. So we go to SmackDown, which is like a 5-minute walk from the hotel right into the crypto.com Coliseum.
I didn't realize. So you were in walking distance of going in.
Yeah.
So you know what? $50 a day for parking at your hotel and not having to deal with all that. All right.
I mean, we have to walk past LA Live. We're right by the Coliseum. We're by the convention center. We're the store. All walking distance, which I have more videos I put up like 2 yesterday. I'll probably put up 2 more today, and we'll continue to put those up until they're all up. Yes. I felt very slim and trim, by the way. A lot of these guys were not
BRB. You okay for just a second?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the people were not in wrestling shape, we'll say. We go into SmackDown. We have a VIP entrance, which I was very excited about. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, it was an easy walk, right, Greg? I mean, super easy. Good to see you, Greg. We're going to talk about the meetup here in a minute. And mean, judgy people. Yeah, there were some of those for sure. Oh, and happy Easter. Don't forget to boil your eggs thoroughly before you color them, though. You don't want egg issues. And, we go in there. SmackDown's great. We have our own, like the VIP people have their own bar and stuff that they don't have to go downstairs and deal with the masses. SmackDown was fine. It was good. After that, they had the Hall of Fame inductions, which was a lot of fun. I got to see Ric Flair come out and do an amazing job inducting the Great Muta. Before that, Stacy Keibler, who also dated George Clooney, I believe. Yeah, she dated George Clooney for a while. She was on Dancing with the Stars. She was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Giant legs. I mean, legs up to here. Great pair of legs. She was inducted by Tori Wilson and Mick Foley. Great friend of the show. Then we had they put one of the referees in the Hall of Fame. He got the Warrior Award, which was very nice. Let's see who else. I'll wait to talk about Andy Kaufman when Creed comes back. Rey Mysterio was put in there, and it was really cool because they used the ring for the person who was being inducted. They'd come out there and stand. And over here on the other side, which I'm like right beside the stage, they brought out 1 million chairs and had all of the current roster and Hall of Famers sit right there in these folding chairs on the stage. And, so I'm seeing all these wrestlers with, Rhea Ripley comes out. She's, wrestling the next night for the championship. And in kayfabe, which is, if you're not familiar with that, that's wrestling talk for storyline. She is with Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic. But in real life, she's with another wrestler, Buddy Murphy. He's also Buddy Matthews over on AEW. He's with her. They sit down. I see Charlotte Flair and her husband Andrade sit down, and like people from other wrestling companies had come with their significant others, and they were sitting on stage.
So a couple quick questions. First night, it was 3 nights, was it?
Yeah, because we went to SmackDown the first night and 2 nights of WrestleMania.
Was the spread progressively better, or did it just was it
in the suite? It stayed the same. It was the same both nights, but the food was outstanding, so it didn't matter.
Are these security guards there in the middle?
Oh no, those are 2 of the guys that are in there. It's a mirror. Yeah.
Never mind. All right, I see that now.
Yeah. But we did have our own concierge who would walk around and ask us how things were. Did we need anything? Do we have any issues with anything? Let her know. And so, by the way, Andy Kaufman's family was there, Creed, for his induction.
Really?
Yes.
Those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. The lore of him, the extreme mystery that is him, was always very intriguing to me. Watched a lot of documentaries, actually read things about him. So that was a really cool thing.
And his family was there. So they had donated like some of his stuff. So in the Superstore, they had these things, which you'll see the video of Andy Kaufman's, like his ring gear and some of his stuff. And it was very, very cool. Really emotional because they were like really tight family. But yeah, great piece on him. Fantastic. And the Rey Mysterio stuff was really cool. And so let's jump ahead to WrestleMania. First night was, you get to SoFi and it's like, it's massive. Our parking, of course, is fantastic. He's paid for the best parking. We're like row 1. Like literally, I could have picked up a rock and hit SoFi.
Oh, I was confused. So that was at a different place you're talking about.
So
okay.
SoFi was probably about a 15-20 minute drive. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Hallelujah.
But we had found a way that was quicker coming home if we just stuck to Figueroa and took all of Figueroa down, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Amazing. We get there, VIP entrance, VIP treatment. We're taken straight to our suite.
Look at those chairs you're sitting in. My God.
Oh, plush. They reclined.
Jesus Christ.
It was just amazing. That's Chris, by the way. Don't think I met some man while I was there. That's Chris. It was I couldn't believe it. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. There was only like 12 people in the suite, by the way.
I do have to say, you're up a bit. I mean, were you able to see?
Oh, God,
good?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, this picture doesn't do it any justice. You can see just fine.
Weird. Yeah.
So, you know, they filled that place up. 82,000 people the first night. And like everybody that's in our suite, we get to know each other the first night, because the second night is going to be the same people, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're getting to know.
Thank you to Brown Eyed Girl, 5 bucks. Did you feel like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman?
I did. So we're going to talk about night one, and then I'm going to talk about the meetup.
And Flush, no, it's not about the eggs this year. It's all about potatoes now. Didn't you know?
Potatoes. So, you know, we get the SoFi there in beautiful Los Angeles, and everybody's super cool in there. We're all wrestling fans. I sit next to this guy named Eddie. He was from Guadalajara, Mexico, I think. And yeah, it's from SmackDown. And me and him are like talking. Super nice guy. He's got like he took some great pictures he put up on his YouTube channel. And we talked about YouTube. Very quiet guy, super nice. Never even made a sound all night. Super guy, nice guy to sit next to. And you know, I know the wrestlers are coming. You know, they've told us, you know, wrestlers will be showing up. They're going to be coming by. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm super pumped about that. And, you know, but I was expecting like nothing special. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. First night, I'm sitting there and I look over my shoulder and I see Liv Morgan, who's a beautiful girl, which I don't have the picture up here. I don't know why. Liv Morgan is there. Then I met Jimmy Hart, who is a Hall of Famer, Mouth of the South. Very nice as well.
I don't know who any of these people are, so forgive me.
There she is. That's her.
Is that her?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, I am producing like a mofo today.
Super sweet girl. Very nice. Because I didn't even know she was there. I looked behind me and there she was. Oh, shit. Let me get a picture. Jimmy Hart was nice. Boogs, this guy Boogs, incredibly nice. When I say, yeah, him, I come walking up. He's standing there talking to Chris. You can see what he looks like. And I come walking up and I'm like, whoa, which one of you is Boogs and which one of you is Chris? You guys look so much alike. I can hardly tell who's who. And he just starts busting out laughing. He's just real jovial. He's not like brushing us off. He just stands there and talks for like probably 10 minutes. He's got like a fanny pack on. Oh, Chris, thank you.
Hallelujah.
He's got his fanny pack on. He's like, oh my God, they want me to start pushing this stuff, which what he had in his fanny pack gave me an idea of something to do live one day soon. He pulls out the stuff and it looks like mascara. And I'm like, they've got him pushing mascara? And he's like, he showed it to me. He's like, so this stuff you're supposed to put on your beard and mustache, and it'll make your beard and mustache dark for like 24 hours. He's like, who the hell wants that? I was like, is that supposed to be like one of those things like you're meeting somebody for the first time, you want to impress them and get the gray out, or are you on the FBI watch list and you need to do this on the fly? And he's like, and like he pulls the thing out, it's like all black, and he doesn't even need it. He's like, I don't know why they got me walking around this. He's like, I'm not gonna push this on nobody though. And that made me think, what a great bit if I sit here one day just putting it's only lasts 24 hours. I'm putting it all in my beard and see how black it'll get. Super nice guy. We have a great time. And then I meet Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin right there. Baron Corbin, who's a heel. He's a former NFL player, and he's just standing there. I go up and talk to him, and we start talking about music. Super nice guy. Definitely not an a-hole at all. I met Lacey Evans, who is a former Marine. And she was like, oh, where are you from? And I told her where I was from. She's like, oh, I know exactly where that's at. I was, Marine Corps Air Station and all this other stuff. So that was great too. Night 2, our expectations were blown out of the water. This young lady, Rhea Ripley, had wrestled the first night, won the championship, and then came to our suite and was super nice. If you look on her chest right there, Creed, That is Charlotte Flair's fingerprint on her chest from where she had chopped the hell out of her the night before.
Oh my God.
And I pointed that out. I was like, oh my God, you're still showing the war marks of battle and stuff. She's like, oh yeah. If you look, she's Australian. She's like, over here, yeah, this is going on, and she's like super nice talking to me. She, hugs me. I'm like, oh my God. And I think the world of this woman. I think she is smoking hot. And I'm thinking to myself, on TV, I thought she was way bigger because when I hug her and put my arm around her, I can touch her back, her bare back. And I'm like, okay, she's just right. And I was just like blown away. Very, very happy to meet her. She was super nice. And she came up there with Dominic Mysterio, who is her kayfabe boyfriend. Got a picture with him. They had the title. There it is, the Universal title. And you could take your picture with it and stuff. So I got a quick pic. You can even see my peg leg right there on my far leg. You can see the peg.
Yeah. Lovely shirt, by the way.
Dusty Rhodes, baby. Yeah. The American Dream. Got a lot of compliments on that shirt, baby.
Oh, I bet you did.
So, I meet Dominic. He's a super nice guy. And Mia Yim, who is married to another wrestler that's in AEW, Keith Lee. No one was really going up to her. And I felt kind of bad and I made sure I went to her first because I was like, you know what? Nobody's talking to her. I went to talk to her. She was incredibly nice.
Why is that? Is she not super loved or?
Well, she is, but you just brought in two of the hottest characters in the company.
All right, I got you. Yeah.
So everybody's clamoring to get to them.
Right.
I talked to her. She's even the only person that I had tweeted out a picture of me and her, and she even liked it and wrote stuff on it. And I was like, wow, well, that's very nice of her. And you're in there, you're with everybody, you're bonding with the people in your suite. And I find out that one of the people in my suite, because of Leather and Lashes, this guy, Ben, who never even said nothing about like, oh yeah, I have a really successful podcast. Me and him were chatting it up, hanging out, having a good time. And the next day I was like, hey, I heard about your, I said, I posted a picture of me and you, and all they wanted to talk about was you. And he laughed and like, super nice guy. Hopefully pretty soon we'll have him on. I'll do something with him or whatever, but we got some plans. There's Dominic. As you see, the lights were right in my eyes. I fired my photographer right after that. He, by the way, he's a wrestler and I shook hands with him. He's a little taller than me, but his hands were so soft and his hand was so small and he didn't like, a man shakes another man's hand.
Yeah.
It was very soft handshake. I was a little surprised. Slightly surprised. Oh, very nice guy. Humble, giant. I don't know if you could tell. I'm 6'6" and he's like 8'2".
Was this with the beard here? Is this Ben?
That's Ben. That's good old Ben. As you see, he's a big dude. Big guy.
That's pretty neat. So you had met him and had no idea about.
Yeah, no idea who. I saw a couple of people come in and get pictures with him. I was like, what's that all about? But me and him, I told him, I was like, I know who you are now. He's like, uh-oh. Because when I was leaving the night before, he's like, see you guys tomorrow. Hope y'all ready to party again. I was like, yeah, we'll be back. We come in and I see him and just super nice guy, down to earth, really nice.
And it was at that moment that Mikey realized that he's being stalked by Knox.
That's the guy that was with Ben. I don't know exactly what his name is, but
from a distance and from how I'm looking at this right here, not only does it look like Knox, but that looks like maybe like one of those faces of him being like, yeah, I made it. That's just
he was kind of a Knox type character. I don't know if he's on the podcast with him or whatever, or just a buddy. But yeah, Ben was a really amazing guy, a really nice dude, great to hang around with. We spent 9 hours together over the weekend. So, it's one of those things like we got so lucky with the people that were in our suite. And I thought all the suites, by the way, were going to have wrestlers go and have food. Nope. It was just two of them on our side of the building.
Wow.
So when our wrestlers were there and stuff, the people in the other suites were staying up, taking pictures and everything. So I conspicuously jumped ahead in time, Creed.
Mm-hmm.
just because I want to get night 1 in the books.
Sure.
And night 2 pretty much, cover that. 2 things I want to talk about before we wrap this up and I finish telling you guys everything else about. Now, that's a very good picture, Creek. Why? Because that's the Magic Johnson statue that I told everybody to meet at. That was the spot. And how did I know about that spot?
Somebody helped you pick it.
I consulted with Six. He's a local. And he said, yeah, this would be a great spot. Even sent me a picture. And I was like, okay, perfect. That's where we'll do it. And the day of the meetup. Oh, by the way, the one guy the Boogs guy, the Flexen, he put on deodorant before we did it. I had zero expectations. Zero.
Yes, Cole. Absolutely. By the way, yes.
Yes. And then 20,000 people decide they want to go on this trip. Then yes.
I would love to.
Or somebody owns a cruise ship and just wants us to come. Well, if you pay all my expenses, my flight, my I will go. So the meetup, it was time for the meetup. I had went and eat at this fantastic restaurant beforehand, a place called Fixin'. It was like Southern food. Had a fried chicken omelet and the best grits I'd ever had.
Is that it?
Ever? Yes, that's it.
Damn, I am good
fantastic, amazing food. And very reasonable prices, by the way. I think it was like $14 for that. And those are that was our appetizi. It's biscuits and gravy. And oh my God.
For an appetizer.
Mm-hmm. I think I ate half a biscuit. He ate half a biscuit. So like 3 of them were thrown away because it was just so much food. So, I'm hopeful. Six is messaging me all morning. I mean, all morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wants me to go eat at this deli, and I just don't have the time. I'm tight on time. I'm thinking in my head, I was like, okay, the meetup will last like 30 minutes. Boom, we'll be good to go. And
I agree.
Yeah.
So by the way, we're making jokes about the fact that Six would be there hours before it even started, and would be there the entire time. And come to find out, didn't quite work out that way.
No. Six ended up being the last person to show up. He sends me a message while I'm eating. He's like, what kind of sandwiches do you like?
While you're eating that we just saw pictures.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, don't bring any food. It's good. Just bring yourself. You are fine. I don't need any sandwiches. And so, I walk over there. The first person I meet is Greg. Greg is there. That's him right there in front of me, sitting down. He's there. I meet him. And then over by my pointer hand, that is Bean. She was the second person I met. And then the young lady there in the blue sweater, that's Flamin' Rickshaw. She comes up, introduces herself. Dennis, who fooled me, made me think he needed a wheelchair, gets up and walks for the photo, by the way. And I'm like, oh my God, Dennis,
oh my God.
I've healed Dennis. These hands, baby, these hands.
Dennis,
he gets
great.
Up for the picture and stuff. And we get a great picture. Now, the gentleman with his arm on me is Six.
That's Six.
At the other end of the spectrum, beside Bean, is I think he introduced him as his cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I thought his name was Vinny, but I think we found out later on it was Danny, right, Chris? Danny? Gabagoo. So yeah, this guy, the guy that he brought with him, he works at the sandwich shop. He's Six's cousin, I guess, something like that. And plus he knew the show. And I'm like, okay, cool. He knew about everything. So they walk up. Six is messaging me, by the way, the entire time. He's an hour late.
Right.
Where are you guys at? I was like, we're by Magic Johnson's statue. I'm standing right next to it. I'm leaned up against it. I was like, no, you're not. I'm looking at it. You're not there. Now, granted, there's a bunch of statues, but there's only one Magic Johnson statue. He is an LA native. How does he not know which statue was Magic Johnson?
Plus, again, you guys
he picked
made
the spot.
Yeah.
And so him and the cousin come walking up, and he hands me this paper bag, and it looks like a severed head. If imagine a bag with a severed head in it, he hands me the bag and says, "Here you go, man. We got you these sandwiches." And I'm thinking to myself, I told him not to bring nothing. I told him
Because you just ate.
Yeah. He's like, that sandwich there's got meatballs, roast beef, Italian sausage. Like, he's naming every meat on the planet. And the other one's got, he's just rambling off all the stuff. And there's 2 cannolis in there. And his cousin's like, yeah, these sandwiches are amazing. We've been in business for 94 years. He's just like, yeah. And I felt like he had mob connections, maybe. Now, I can't tell you what happened next with his cousin, which I'll tell you during members only. He did something and said something and gave Chris something that was completely unexpected.
Oh, really?
Completely unexpected. And like I said, I thought this was going to last 30 minutes. It lasted an hour and a half. It felt like I'd been there no time. I had to cut it short and leave because everybody was just like hanging around, asking questions. And I was overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. I was overwhelmed.
Well, you were saying that. Listen, we're used to the radio world and those things. This is a whole different animal. You're on a completely different coast, middle of nowhere.
Everybody was super nice. Amazing.
But you know what I mean? So far from home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so cool. It really
and when I got the bag of sandwiches, by the way, I said, oh, thank you. I was like, Chris, take care of this. I handed it to Chris like he's my handler. And he's over there with the giant bag of sandwiches. I think he even sits it on the ground. But we took it back and I put it in the fridge. But something he says to Chris, which I will completely talk about over in the members only. 6, super nice guy. I was just taken aback about how late he was and not knowing where we were when everyone else had no problem.
That's so fun.
It was a pleasure to talk to all these people because I felt like I already knew them kind of, from this. This is so much different than radio. In radio, you have no idea who somebody is unless they call in all the time.
God bless.
And that's a very small cross section of your audience. Whereas here, we're talking to these people all the time. We're right there with them. I can see their pictures and things like that. And you feel like you kind of already know them. So it was amazing to do that. It was amazing to hang out and see these people. And it gave me a chance to thank them. I wish I could thank everybody. I wish I could in person meet and thank everybody. But it really did mean a lot. And I had just the best time. Sorry. So keep that up real quick. I'll run through these. We stopped at a gas station. One of the first gas stations we stopped at on our trip on day 1. We get to the gas station. There's a car at the pump. There's probably like 10 cars in the parking lot. We see 2 women coming out of the ladies' room. So we knew they had bathrooms and they're on the outside. I go over to the men's room while Chris is trying to pump gas, and I try and get in on slot. I was like, oh shit, there's somebody in here. I'll wait. Nobody comes out. So I said, one day I got to go inside and get the key. Go up to the old front door, grab the door. Locked. Where are all these people? That their cars are here. The bathrooms are locked. The front door is locked. Everybody's gone. Those 2 girls we saw, don't know where they went.
Okay.
So it came down to, pee on the side of the building or not pee at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like something at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tumbleweeds are blowing by. It's very sketchy. So we thought maybe it was either a robbery, maybe a mass murder, or it was just some sort of cult. Not sure. At SmackDown, there's this guy pounding drinks in front of us. Just bloop, 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 bloop. Next thing you know, we look down. He's passed out. Like pyro's exploding. He's like dead to the world. Dead. And the train in the parking lot, which I thought was really weird. So he uses that Waze or whatever, the guide you type deal.
Right. Yeah.
And while we were inside the parking garage, they paid $100 for us to park at in San Diego. Every time we would turn a corner, it would say train tracks ahead, train tracks ahead. And like 10 times it told us a train was coming. And I'm like, in this parking garage, what kind of damn place? $100 and it's got a damn train station in it. But it was wrong. The train never came. But
that's a weird thing.
It was really weird. Now I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna tell all the stories, but this is the one last story I have to tell. It took place over 2 days. Now, Chris and I took our time to find, just the right places to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a road trip. You want to experience the local cuisine. You don't want to really eat in like a hole in the wall, but you want to try like mom and pop places to get a flair for the local flavor.
Yeah, of course.
So we're in a town called Needles. We see this place. It's called the Wagon Wheel. It's a small building, very old. This is inside the Wagon Wheel. They had pews right there on the wall inside the little case over Chris's head.
Cool looking place.
Yeah. They had, just to give you an idea of how nice it was, they had all these, tchotchkes on the wall and stuff, all these little tables. We were sitting by the fireplace, and this is like the booths behind us. Real quick, Creed, you would appreciate this. All in one Subway, Godfather's Pizza, and a Sonic. All in one.
All right. Yeah.
All in one.
It's a random rest area.
Your random rest area.
Yeah. That's
so this is what I got to eat. I got the, I asked the young lady working there. I said, what do you recommend? She recommended this, but she also talked highly of the steaks. And then out of nowhere from behind us, there was this old truck driver. He says, hey, fellas, some of the best steak you'll ever have this side of Amarillo.
It was definitely an old truck driver because.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He had his little head thing on. He's like, I'm a truck driver. I go all these different places. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's on Route 66?
Yeah, we came back on Route 66.
I'm telling you, I'm looking through their Facebook. The food looks.
Yeah, and I've got like tons of video from Route 66 and sandstorms and snowstorms, which again I'll be posting all those real soon. So I was like, thanks, old timer, and we still ordered what we ordered. We didn't go with the steak, even though they said they were cutting it in the back. So we're gonna pass. We're going for steak at the next day. We're going to the Big Texan.
Right. Yes, you don't want to be eating steak and needles.
So we have the fried chicken. I have the fresh green beans and mashed taters. And before this truck driver behind us left, he comes over to the table. Where you boys heading from here? I told him where we were going. He's like, all right. You boys like breakfast burritos? And I'm like, yeah, I love breakfast burritos, old timer. And his weathered face, he looks at me. He says, if you like breakfast burritos, I know a place. They're as big as your forearm. Some of the best. Yeah, some of the best you ever had. And I said, okay. So he starts to tell us, when you're heading down that way, look for the exit to Moriarty. When you get there, take that exit and look for Lisa's truck stop. It's okay. Lisa's truck stop, Moriarty, got it. When you get inside, ask for the breakfast burrito and ask for Joe. She's a waitress there. One of the best if you want good service, somebody's going to take care of you. Ask for Joe. I've been in there 100 times. She's always took good care of me. And when you go in there and you ask for Joe, tell her that a trucker sent you. And he's like smiling. He's like, she'll know who I am. Just tell her it's the trucker guy who takes pictures of her butt. And he's like smiling. I'm like, okay. It's an inside joke. It's like, here we are now. We're getting that local flavor. We've got the truck driver. He's guiding us back. He's giving us this ideas of good places to eat. Who better than this grandfatherly gentleman to help us out? So I'm like, all right, cool. Next day comes. We're going down the road. I'm just doing this for fun. And
wasn't even going to comment about that.
we see
down the road
a sign, and Chris is like, oh, Moriarty. And it was kind of out of our minds, but at the same time, it's like we were thinking about it because,
right.
This guy's giving us a hot tip. This is how diners, drive-ins, and dives, started. This is me and Chris. We're going to start a show where we just take tips from truckers to go eat at these places.
Yeah, there you go.
So we pull up, it's all right looking. You just got the showers and stuff. A lot of truckers. You can tell it's called Lisa's Truck Stop.
Yeah.
And we go inside, clean, nice. I was like, all right, we're talking. And, right away, me and Chris are like, all right, we're going to try and pick out who Joe is before we ask for her. And we go sit down, tons of truckers around us, one even looks like Sam Elliott over in the corner. Wow, that guy's extra truckery. And, we're kind of excited, like, yeah, I'll bring in my GoPro. I'm going to shoot some footage and stuff inside. So we're sitting there and we look, and there's 3 Mormons working there.
Mm-hmm.
One is an older lady up at the front of the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
She's running the register and chit-chatting people up. I was like, okay, well, maybe she's, he's an older guy. Maybe he likes her ass. Then we see this youngish lady, probably in her late 30s, early 40s. Very skinny, very fit, but not really in the ass department.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see a girl that looks like she's in her early 20s. Big old fat dumper on her. And we're like, oh, that's Joe. And the lady, she's like, I'll be back and get your drink. She got our drink orders and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to wait until she comes to take our order. And I'll ask her for Joe. And well, end up with the waitress, who's the 40-something, skinny, no butt to speak of, but very nice. And she squats down, how waitresses will get down in your face, to take your order. She's like, what can I get for you guys? I said, well, I've got 2 questions. One, is the breakfast burrito good? And she's like, very good. It's like, okay, that's one question. My other question is there a waitress here named Joe? And she says, I'm Joe. I was kind of shocked. I was like, okay, I didn't want to say, oh, you ain't got no ass.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, we ran into a regular of yours at the Wagon Wheel in Needles, and he said, come here, ask for you, get the breakfast burrito because you're both excellent. And she's, oh my God, that's so cool. I said, yeah. And he told us to tell you, so you knew who he was, that he's the trucker who takes pictures of your butt. And I look at her face, and her face goes, and I'm like, what have I said? What did I do wrong? And she's like, oh my God, it's him. I'm like, him? I'm thinking they're best of friends. They're pals. They're going to be butt pick jokes all night long, and we're going to party. No. Look of terror falls over her face. She calls for the juicy butted younger girl to come over. She's like, come here quick. These guys ran into him at another restaurant. He was talking about my butt. She looks at us and she said, it's like a Monday, Tuesday, something like that, where we make it there. And she's like, this past Friday, that guy's been coming here for years. I've worked here 17 years. He's been coming here forever. And he called me over to his table and he says, hey, look at this is your butt in 2016. And then he starts to thumb through hundreds of pictures of my butt and tells me that he's been sending them to all his trucker friends. And they were sending him pictures of butts and picture of my butt. And I'm just like super creeped out. I'm scared to death. I don't know what to do. And now here's these 2 guys. I'm thinking in my head, we have now helped sexually harass a waitress from afar. Yeah. We brought this terror back to her life. Oh. And I could just envision this old guy now driving the truck, laughing.
Got him.
She's wanting a restraining order against him. He's basically banned from the restaurant. And here we are showing up, giving her the story and upsetting her. And, she said she didn't know what happened to our food. We sat there for a while and she didn't come back to the table. So others by to wait on us. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, your breakfast burritos are lost. I don't know what happened. Just give me just a little bit." Chris is sitting there. Yeah, he's like we have just now.
I think I would have left.
I was waiting for the sheriff's department to get. We thought about it. We thought about it.
I think I would have left at that point. That's too uncomfortable. I can't believe that you guys even stayed.
And I'm like, we're sitting there just mortified. I can't believe we've done this.
Did you both explain though that you didn't?
We tried to.
Knew nothing about the guy,
but I think she had tunnel vision at that point, and just that it was the matter that we have come in there now, and this guy has sent us there talking about pictures of her ass and all these things, and I'm like, just blown away. So we get the breakfast burritos finally because they had to remake them and everything because they had lost ours. And I'm just sitting there, and it's hard to even eat because I'm just like, this lady's gonna get a TPO against me. I'm gonna be up in front of the judge here soon.
Oh, definitely don't blame her.
I can't blame her.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It was that guy and us. I felt bad for her. I felt bad because here we'd done this to her. We brought up this very upsetting, and it had just happened a few days before. So it's like, what was this guy thinking to send us there and make sure we asked for Joe and told her about the butt pictures? And we get done, and Chris is like, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. We've just upset this girl, I gotta do something. So our check was probably like, I don't know, $30, maybe, if that. Probably not even that much.
I dropped 100 on her.
Well, he dropped her a solid 50. He gave her a $50 tip. And, I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even want to wait around to see her reaction. I was like, let's just get the hell out of here. Let's go. Let's just get out. It was like, before they get here and start, get woke on us and me to death or something. It was a complete nightmare.
Well, I can see on their side of things, kind of looking at you too, thinking that you knew the whole story and you're here to F with them a little bit more about it.
I thought it'd be a good story. A guy sent us there,
Oh yeah,
have the great food, the cool waitress that
Yeah, this is like things you've seen in movies and read about.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yes, it's a big deal. My God, that
said it was a whole a sex offender subject. Yeah, exactly. We're secondhand sex offenders. I'm like, how did we do this? Why did this happen?
Chances of that happening.
But I mean, I've got a lot more stories, a lot more stuff we can talk about, which we'll talk about on members only. Some stuff I can't talk about here because of the nature of it. I will say this: we saw tons of prostitutes on Figueroa, tons, and the videos we've seen, Creed, you have a general idea like these girls aren't that hot,
right?
That might just be the day crew because the night crew,
really
tight as a drum, smoking hot. They're all wearing little panties.
Well, we were asking
their butts and just
when we were watching it during members only, we've watched a few prostitute related things, and the slim pickings.
Oh my God,
but
wall to wall beauties. Like I expected, like no teeth and things like that. No, these girls were in excellent physical condition. Yeah, so they're looking for our car right now. Still,
well, we had asked. We had asked about. We were kind of wondering. I mean, is it? We wondered about the prices.
We thought about stopping to ask and things like that, and the cops were going by, and nobody even flinched.
Yeah,
they're on these side streets making deals.
That's an easy one to answer, Shelly. They had such a jam-packed schedule time-wise, and you had said you had talked to him.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. He had told me he wanted to do it when I got there. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, let me see what my schedule looks like. And he messaged me. He's like, you want to come out tonight? I was at WrestleMania still had 2 more hours of that to go through. And then I had to get back to the hotel.
That would have been fun. It would've been fun to
He
see
wanted,
out streaming.
Jeremy was super nice by. He wanted to take me out. Marcel from
Hell yeah, yeah.
world's greatest cameraman
Says, come on by.
he wanted me to come over and hang out there. I couldn't do that because we
Would've loved to.
just didn't have time.
Yeah.
It was because WrestleMania start time is 8:00 on the East Coast, so it was starting there at 5:00. We had to be there at 2:00. We never got away from there till like 10 or 11, and getting back to the hotel room, you're looking at 12:00 every night. So it was like,
that's a good question. Did you get any random propositions or any weird stuff happening on your travels at all?
okay. So first night we were there, we were leaving SmackDown. We're walking down Figueroa, and we see these this group of attractive ladies walking towards us. And I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't hear much about this trip, but one thing that I did hear is an interaction of a lady yelling back at you guys.
Twice I got yelled at. Yeah. One time by a horrible slur.
I heard that one. Sorry.
Yeah. And so we're walking down, and I see these girls kind of like walking towards us, and I'm like, or should we move over? And every time we moved over, they moved closer, like they were coming right at us. And this one girl, she's like, oh my God, you guys, you were so hot. And she like rubbed her hand across Chris's chest, and then it like come off of him and went right on to me. She's like, oh, she's rubbing across my chest. And she's
is that a move to see if you're a cop? Like if you got a pew pew strapped to the side?
I don't know. I thought maybe these girls were prostitutes. I mean, beautiful girls. Don't get me wrong.
Maybe they wanted to see if you had a money sack on, one of those things.
I don't know. And she rubbed her hand across my chest, and she's like, oh, baby, I could do something with you. I'm like, oh my God. And I told Chris, I said, maybe these were working girls, and they were just like seeing if we were interested. Beautiful, beautiful young ladies. And I was like, wow, either we still got it or they think we have money. One of the two. I'm going with the latter, but
I was watching live, and I want to play the little clip. He put up a thing. I want Mikey to see it. It was a great moment. I was watching. I actually tuned in perfect timing with Cash and Crash, who I've talked about before. We was around Vegas. I want to watch the clip real quick tonight before we get things going. Members only. It's pretty crazy.
Hell yeah,
pretty crazy. Well, hey, 15. How did you do, Mikey? 15 minutes over. Are we through the stories? Pretty good. Did we do
let me look at my list. I had to make notes. Well, when we come back for members only, we're going to talk about the ghost I saw. We're going to talk about the sandwiches in question, Six and his cousin, and something I saw on the side of the road that I've never seen before. And luckily, I was in LA when I saw it, and me and Chris both were taken aback. So we're going to talk about that. A few more little things, this and that's to talk about. And it was an amazing time.
I heard there are a few that.
I've got to put these behind paywall because YouTube would definitely not be happy.
With the white car tee, like when he was at the gas station watching in front with the bus, and then that, it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Well. All right, that is our little hangout. Listen, we'll be back 4:05 East for We Gotta Chase for Florida Friday edition.
Yeah, it's a good time. A lot of great chases, man. The stuff I've seen the boys put together, absolutely amazing. They're really. I'm glad they're back from vacation as well.
Well, part of the reason why I want to watch that little clip is I know a lot of our audience would absolutely love him. He's a lot of fun. Does some really random stuff around Vegas. A lot of gambling too, but he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
The dust storm. You actually have a little video.
I got videos of that. I mean, this is on our way back. It was so bad we could not see past the end of the hood of the car.
Before we say goodbye, I have to ask you this: would you? Let's just say you had to, or had a chance. Would you move to California and live there, or any of the places that you traveled through? Did it interest you enough to say, I think I could probably settle in here? Okay.
Definitely not LA.
Too much, right?
The traffic wasn't all that bad. Like people say, "Oh my God, traffic's so bad." I've seen bad traffic, and it's just traffic. It's no big deal. San Diego was really nice. Maybe San Diego, New Mexico, maybe not. Arizona was fine, but it's just, it's like 1A and 1B with New Mexico. It's like they pretty much look the same.
Right.
Texas was nice. Everybody owns trucks there. Maybe Texas. I could see that. Texas would probably be in the top tier places to go stay. California,
I think it's getting down to like 40 now. All of a sudden, we've had days of beautiful sunshine and 80 degrees and a couple storms. So now we're going back to winter, I guess.
We had days where it would be 70 degrees and within a few hours it'd be 21 degrees. So going over these mountains was, Gallup. Yeah, Gallup goes there.
Gallup. I think it would be. I know that the desert and all that very boring, but not living or not seeing that ever. I think taking a road trip like that through some of that would be very.
And also for members only, I will talk about the worst dining experience of my entire life at one of the most awful locations on the planet.
Next year in Philly, Pamela, isn't it Philadelphia?
Philly, next year. I told Chris, I was like, you get a great job again. I mean, you, buddy, we're rolling.
With that, let's jump out of here. We'll see you guys at 4:05.
Yep. You guys take care. We'll see you real soon. Au revoir.
be sure to like.
Wrong one. I give the guys in the truck a compliment.